All right, folks, if you're using Packet Tracer, and I'm using version 8.0.0.0.21, whatever it is, the switch will not support IPv6 by default. So if I go in here and I do a show version, we see it's using the latest 15.0.2 iOS, so it's using the newer version of the iOS, but it just won't work. So if I go in here and I go to config T and I go to interface VLAN1 and I type in IP, I only get IP, not IPv6. So IPv6 won't work by default on the switch, which is kind of weird. I don't understand why their new version of Packet Tracer doesn't have that. So what you need to do is you need to connect it. So I just popped a server in here, and I gave the server an IP address, 192.168.1.1. And if we go to services, you'll see there's a TFTP, and it's on by default. And there is a iOS here that we can use to help us. So what we need to do is we need to get this iOS onto the switch. We need to set it up as the preference one, then boot to it, and then IPv6 will be supported. All right, so I get rid of that. Let's go back into the switch. And let me, actually, just so I know where I'm at. All right, so now I'm going to go to interface VLAN1, and I'm going to assign it IP address 1.2, and do a no shut. All right, and then what port did I plug into? I plugged in a port 1, so I need to exit. I need to go to interface FA01 and do switch port and spell that right. And should have already had access to that because all ports should be on VLAN1 by default. All right, then I'm just gonna end and do a show IP interface brief, and port 1 is up, and the VLAN has the right IP address. All right, so now I want to test for basic connectivity. So ping 1.1. And so now I've got that basic connectivity. So make sure anytime you guys are setting stuff up in Packet Tracer, always get basic connectivity first before you do anything else. And that way, if there's a problem, you know it's not the basic connectivity, it's not the wiring, it's not the IP addressing, that stuff. All right, so now that we're good, now we need to pull that over. So in privilege mode, we need to do a copy, and we want to copy from TFTP to flash. Remember, the command is always copy from to, so I want to copy from the TFTP server to the flash. The IP address is 192.168.1.1, and then the file name is C2960-LANBase K9-MZ-150-2.SE4.bin. Now obviously I have this written down, and I want to leave it the same file name, and then boom, it copies over. So now if I do a show flash, I see both the files over here, and they look almost identical. And the name is the same. This one is just 2960. This one is C2960. So I don't know what the difference is. If it's just like by default they don't support IPv6, but so I guess I have no idea. So now at this point you need to decide what you want to do. Do I want to get rid of the old one, or do I just want to make sure that the new one has the preference? So in this example, I'm going to make sure the new one has preference. So I'm going to go back to config T, and then I'm going to say boot system, and I'm going to say that exact same file, C2960 -LANBase K9-MZ .150-2.SE4.bin. So I want that one to take precedence. So now that one is going to be, it's going to load that one first before the other one. So you could also, if I just deleted the original one, then this would only be the only one on the flash, so it would automatically be booted that way. So I could do it either way. All right, then I need to go into turn on the IPv6. So this version will actually allow that. So I can do SDM, prefer, And then at this point, you can just type in dual and tab, and then it'll allow dual IPv4 and IPv6. Then we want that to be the default, and hit enter. And you'll get this thing, hey, changes to the running blah blah haven't been loaded. Da, da, da. So now we want to end, and then I'm going to copy run start, and then I'm going to reload. And now when it boots up, it is using the C2960 file, not the other file. So it is loading the correct file. Almost there. All right. So now that I can return, I can hit enable, and then I can go config T, and then interface VLAN 1. And then if I hit IP and hit question mark, you'll see now I can do IPv4 or IPv6. So now we're all set and we're good. So again, you can do that a couple different ways. You can either get rid of the original operating system on the flash, and so that it only boots off the other one, or you can do the other two commands. You can use the boot system command to pick which operating system, and then you can turn it on with SDM, prefer, dual, IPv4, IPv6, and then you're all set. Just make sure that you save that config to the start and before you reload, and then you're all good. So if you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Other than that, have a great week, folks.